about the southest part of Europe, like we see, there creates an environment many difference with other parts of Europe. We had to say also that all this meeting and will be recorded, so just to you know it. And yes, so yesterday we were talking about the objectives and the results that we are getting about this project, and we see now in my presentation that I'm gonna show you. We saw, like, we found some barriers that create, we'll say, like a different scenario, against, for example, if we compare with the north of Europe, for example, in the rural areas from the north of Europe are different from the south. So we'll see that, but we see how we found 6 common barriers between our 3 countries, between Italy, Spain, and Portugal, and also, like, the different challenges that the present the current days are putting on us. So, and we'll see how these challenges have to be overcome with in rural areas, maybe more than in cities. So we'll see how we overcome these barriers, also with examples. So yesterday we could enjoy and we could share the morning with 6 real experiences from Spain, from Portugal, and from Italy, that are working already in the rural areas and in trying to entrepreneur in these zones. Also, the most important thing about this project also is that it's connected with young people. So it's not only with that people that has, like, a lot of experience so we are talking about young people that maybe they have studies, they don't have studies, but their goal is to entrepreneur in the rural areas because they are aware about the problems that they have these areas, and also because they want during these days that we live, then they think that this also, it's very important to work on rural areas, just because the importance that they have in the landscape, on the climate, and also in the social relationships. So now, just I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna have a brief presentation, and then this will be like a half an hour, and then we'll have 2 other opponents that we are gonna link with yesterday, but also we are gonna link for the future. No, like, we are gonna try to create some opportunities that the people that is hearing us today can have some tips or some ideas how to can entrepreneur in the rural areas in the south of Europe. So then after me is gonna be Amuni, the collective from Sicily, from Marsala, that they are gonna talk about. Sorry, it's Iroko, that from Madrid, from the north of Madrid. So they are going to talk about building more sustainable communities through youth entrepreneurship. So how these sustainable communities are like a necessary tool in order to entrepreneur in these areas. And then ASN from Portugal is going to talk about how to finance the projects, because the idea is everything it seems easy until the money comes, and then the money also always is as a big barrier. No, so for when the idea is, the optimism is always necessary, but then always you need part of money in order to invest in your project. And finally, we'll talk about, we'll have like a networking cafe, like the people that stay here in the meeting can share their ideas, their opinions, and their experiences also about how entrepreneur in the rural areas. And also, of course, if any one of you has any questions, so please give up your hand, and then in the chat here, and we'll be so so grateful to answer you. So I'm gonna share it. Tell me if everything is fine, and then you can see my screen. I hope that yes, okay. So perfect. So like you see, I'm part of the collective Los Ojos de la Tierra. That is a collective here that is located in Cuenca, and the small city between Madrid and Valencia. And then just like we are part, like we said, I said about in the Green for Change Erasmus Plus project, with Iroko in Madrid, with Amuni from Marsala, and with ASN in Portugal. So, like you say, the idea is promoting a green transition in rural areas through youth entrepreneurship. Yes, just like following the things that I start to say, like usually like this project is based on the southeast part of Europe. That this means that there are some characteristics that we share between these countries. The first one obviously is the climate. So the climate shapes our lives, shapes our activities, and also shapes our social communities. So that's why we wanted to try to look for some points, some, let's say, barriers that we share. No, so the problems, also the solutions that we have here in Spain are the same that the Italy or Portugal, also Greece and the Balkans area can have. No. So because especially in the rural areas, we have a distribution very different from the north. The north is more is wider, we'll say, and is more populated. But we are one of the most depopulated areas from Europe, and also this has many problems that we share. So that's one of the goals that we were talking about this yesterday, and that's why we found 6 barriers that we said yesterday. No, so we found that there are, the first one obviously is the geographical barriers. So through geographical position, that that this means that there is a distance to the services. So that makes that if anyone wants to entrepreneur in a rural areas in this south of Europe, there is a first barrier that is a very big, that because you feel that physical isolation in many senses. So that you can see also in this picture, no, of Spain in this case, no, how there is like a bell, like you feel like all the coast and the center is very populated, and then around the middle there is a gap. No, there is a gap that means that also this is a big barrier, especially about the communication, and obviously when you want to sell or to share your products. Then also there is a social that brings, maybe is connected with the first one, but it's a social and personal barriers, because especially when you are young and you want to feel confidence with you and with yourself and with your project, maybe to feel this isolation can push you back, no, and make you feel less or lower position than other people, for example, in the big cities. That's also one of the barriers that we share, and from Italy, from Portugal, they felt that they feel the same things. Also later, obviously, when you entrepreneur and then you want to make your project consistent and strong, there is other barrier, that is the access to financial resources. So this means that when you are living or you are trying to entrepreneur in these low in rural areas, there is not easy to connect with people that can teach you or how can you to access to these final resources. Otherwise, in the city, this concept is more set up there. And then also there is the access to the market. So because there is a limited local consumer in these areas, and also to access to a local or even international markets. So there is another barrier that is felt in here in the south of Europe, that maybe in the north there is more set up, like I said before. Then also there are two things, the other two things that we found that there are barriers in the south of Europe and in the people that we were talking. So is the bureaucracy, so the all the papers that you have to sign, you have to read, that you have to present, and that this in rural areas also there is there is no like someone that or a company or a tool that helps you to do all these papers. No, so you have to go to the city, you have to fight with many people. So there are problems that we think that we need to be easier for the rural areas, or at least more accessible. No, and the last one that I was saying is like the technical skills and digital skills. So I think that everything is connected. So, but we think that there is still yet during these days there is a gap between the cities and the rural areas. So yeah, there are the things that we were talking yesterday, the barriers that we found. But I think that it's important to talk about there today in order to present the next opponents, and also, like would you say, the challenges, because if it's difficult with the barriers that also we found, there are the challenges about the problems that we are living today. And like you say, in these pictures, we have the climate change, we have the global change. So how the print of the human being is shaping and is changing our landscape, is changing our also about the relationship between us and the nature. So like we see now that until 50 years ago, maybe all the agriculture, all the cattle was extensive. Obviously now is much better, and the technology and all the technical things have changed all this relationship, fortunately. But we need to be more aware about how this change and this technical transformation is changing. No, so the climate change and the global change are two things that are happening now, and when if we want to share and we want to entrepreneur in the rural areas, I think that we need to be aware about this moment that we are living about, related to climate and the relationship with the human being. Obviously, also this concentration of the people, of the population in big cities, bigger cities every day, makes also that we separate our lives with the nature, and nature always is the first thing, that because it's our house, the first house. So we need to, if we want to have a urban life, we need to be aware that everything comes from the rural and natural areas. Also, like you say in the middle two pictures, that related to this transformation of the society, it's like how we are separating, and we forget that many knowledge and many traditional skills that we will link, that is part of our culture, that it was transmitted by generation to generation, and we are talking about just 50 years ago, that how these activities that we are seeing, they were part of the day to day, no, and now are completely forgotten, no. So I think that it's also important in this relationship with the nature and with the landscape, to be aware about how our grandparents related to the to the to the nature, and also this traditional ecological knowledge that is like a tool. And it's not like we want to come back there. Obviously, it was a very, very difficult life, but we need to take this knowledge like a tool in order to overcome the global and climate change. And then we were talking yesterday also about problems that the participants were saying, that when they want to to invest or entrepreneur in ruralship, if they are not from that areas, they find some problems. And one of the biggest problems, maybe also today, is the access to a house. So like it seems like doesn't make sense, because like you think, okay, the villages are empty, so the houses should be empty, so there should be accessible, but it's in the opposite, no. So it's very difficult to find a house in the villages today. So this is also a very important challenge. And then the last thing is like how to fight, or how to you want to compete your product with these big, huge companies that today are like a govern, no? We are under these companies, so it's very difficult to rock your company, to your product or your company, especially from rural areas, and you want to compete with huge companies. So these are also some challenges that yesterday some people were saying about their price. And then, like you say here, and also I'm gonna share you, for the people that yesterday was not here, I'm gonna share you the link of YouTube channel that you have, that from the real experiences, like okay, everything looks bad, but like you see after hearing these people, it's the opposite thing. So I think that if you are aware about the problems, and you maybe you can find the solutions, and like these people can show you with their projects, we see that there is a lot of hope. So I think that there are many things, there are many tools, so there are many solutions that in order to entrepreneur in the rural areas. So then after this, I will send you the link of the YouTube channel, and then you can also enjoy. So there are different projects about cattle, about permaculture, about a local market, about your regenerative agriculture. So also working with the natural resources, that we have projects that, for example, in Cuenca, that the place that we are located, we have projects like here, the wood is one of our. We have the longest forest of one of the longest forests of Europe. So maybe if we work with the wood, and we work with the natural resources that the nature give us, maybe also we can create that future. But we need to learn, and we need to be aware about which are our natural resources. So yeah, I invite you to see these real experiences, that they are from Portugal, Spain, and Italy. So I hope that you enjoy, and all of them are with the subtitles. So are in the local language, and are also in English. So I invite you to do it. And then it's like we come today. We in our second day. So we follow like this way, in this interesting and very and European webinar. So today we are trying to link all these things that I explained now, that like I recap about yesterday, and we are trying to. It's more maybe more. It's not as. It's gonna be more. About financial, about also about how to create a social cooperation. But I think that they are maybe the most important things in order to entrepreneur, because they are the to to put your to print the floor, and it's like how to do it. So today the first thing is gonna be talking with Iroko, and Iroko is going to talk about sustainable communities. And this is going to be a very important part, because I think that today the social relationships are changing very quick, very fast. Even sometimes we don't notice it. So it's important that the definition at a sustainable community, and also we'll see also examples. We'll see how the role of the social innovation, and we'll see like that and now we have also digital tools, so we can create a new sustainable communities, and we can see, and we can have the opportunity also that the digital skills, digital tools can be a solution, and also that to live or to have a project in a rural areas, especially for the young people, uh, can be different. So yeah, Iroko is gonna tell us about all this part, and finally, we are talk about how to finance the projects. Maybe the 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 worst part will say when you try to entrepreneur, especially if you are doing in a rural areas. But we'll see, and we'll try to show you how there are different ways, not easy some of them, but especially if we have a strong project, and we have a consistent project, and also with a lot of patience, because I think that we think that today one of the problems, and is like the society is telling us that we need to have everything now and today, and in all everything constructed, and we think that the patience is the base of everything. And when you say that you have a failure, for us I think that never is a failure, so it's a learning. And even if today the world is telling us, okay, success or failure, you have a success, you have failure. For us, I think that especially in rural areas that works with the seasons, with the natural processes that have their time, I think that for us, our tip today, and with this I'm going to finish my presentation. I think that the most important thing is to have patience, and to work on the ideas, but in a slow way. And I think that if we enjoy with our project, and we are completely confident that our project makes sense, and it not only makes sense for us, but also makes sense with the nature and with our times that we are living. So we'll have time for sure. So and never have rush, and never, if you don't come to the place, and never gonna be a failure. So patience, and that's all for me, like a presentation of today. So um, everything, I hope that everything from yesterday is clear for also, especially for the new people, and also just like a presentation about the day of today. If any one of you have any question, any doubt, so please, can you raise your hand, or also write down in the chat. Yeah, so I'm gonna share you also around the YouTube channel. I don't forgot it, so I'm gonna write it down here. In I like it. I now I'm reading that also Julio is connected now with a nice and beautiful project that mix the nature with the music. So that's beautiful how there are many things, many options how to create, and the world is so wonderful to create many ideas. And in this case, this wonderful project of Julio also about music and nature, no? So thank you so to everyone, and I'm here. So if you have any question, any doubt also about yesterday, about how it's gonna be carried out in the day of today, so just telling me, and thank you so much. And now I think that Iroko, I don't know, it's gonna be you, Elena, or Marta.
Marta
Yes.
will start and I will continue.
Okay, perfect. So I give you the floor, Marta, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Uh, okay. I'm trying to share my screen, but I don't know, I cannot. Wait a second. Okay, here maybe. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So our presentation is about building more sustainable communities through entrepreneurship. As Tirso was saying before, we are facing climate and social challenge, but the rural communities hold up powerful solutions, as we have seen yesterday. And today we will explore how the entrepreneurship and the collective action can transform challenge into opportunities. So we will start with a question that I would like to make a little exercise. If you can write in the chat, please tell me one or two words about what does a sustainable community means to you. You can do it in your own language. So en Spanish, ¿qué significa para ti una comunidad sostenible? Si lo quieres escribir en español. ¿Qué cosa significa per te una comunità sostenibile? O che significa per voi una comunità sostentabile? If you want, we have I will give you 1 minute. Just write in the chat some of the words that are coming out for you. And with this, you can think about what does a sustainable community mean to you. Okay, thank you. So we've done this exercise before, and we have, thank you. We did this exercise before, and we have some words that coming out from the participants. And here in this nice tree, you can see some words like circular, nature, solidarity, resilience, futuro, future, innovation, diversity, education, of course, economy, jobs. So that there are many words that can remind us a sustainable community. So let's do a bit of theory with this. So when we talk about sustainability in rural areas, we are not only referring to the environment, but to the entire ecosystem of the community. Sustainable community is one that is able to adapt and grow or succeed in the face of the challenges. The first, it is about climate resilience, the communities that can protect themselves from risk, and now we are seeing more often, like drought, fires, or floods, while continuing to produce food and ensure the well-being of the community. The second, it requires also social cohesion, that it means strong ties between the neighbors, trust, cooperation, that no one is left behind, and the solutions are built collectively. The third, we also need a local economic diversity. This means not relying on a single activity, but creating different jobs and opportunities based on local resources and creativity. So this makes the community less vulnerable and more attractive for young people. And finally, sustainability is about preserving both the environment and the cultural heritage, protecting nature, but also traditions and identity, so that development is not only green, but it's also meaningful for the people who live there. So climate resilience. For example, a village does install rainwater harvesting system or plant trees to protect the soil from erosion. These actions reduce the impact of droughts and floods while are improving local agriculture. Community seed banks, for example, preserving local varieties to adapt to the climate change. Fires, now that we have been having these horrible fires in Spain, we are talking about auto protection plan in a village. So these are all examples. I'm going to tell you one more example that I like a lot. This is called Como Cabras. So I'm going to tell you about one amazing project that is led by a young person, 23 years old, Javier de los Nietos del Can, who first he studied psychology, but later on decided to create his entrepreneurship. He has 225 goats in his village, Cerceda. Well, he has the goats in El Boalo, that is close to Madrid. These goats are not only a source of work, but this is also help the environment because they eat in dried grass. They reduce the risk of wildfires. And moving across the rural paths, they also spread the seeds and support biodiversity. Also, Javier uses the brewery waste. This is the waste that is when you create an artisan beer to drink, the waste that is created. So they are using this waste that is called brewery waste to feed the goats. And also this brewery is an entrepreneurship creating and running by young people in the area of Cerceda. So he used this waste to feed his goats, and this gives a second life to the materials that will be thrown away otherwise, and at the same time provides healthy food for the goats. His herd, these goats, now are playing an important role in a project also at the university campus at the Autónoma University that is also in Madrid. The goats helps to renaturalize abandoned areas, eating the overgrown grass. This project shows how a very old tradition, transhumance, can become a modern tool for sustainability. Javi combines cultural heritage, environmental care, and innovation. And also, like a curiosity, they rented the goats to make a film where they could earn a bit more of money. Okay, the second main point that we were talking about was social cohesion. As we said, strong ties between neighbors, trust and cooperation, and that no one is left behind. Some example we can talk about, some rural communities organize collective gardens where the young and elderly people work together. This not only produce food, but also builds trust and solidarity between the generation. Time banks in rural towns is another example where the neighbors exchange services instead of money. Share co-working space for young entrepreneurship in the populated village are making the people come back to the village. Local fairs organized collectively to strengthen identity, and also, as one entrepreneur was telling us before, is making their products that they can sell their products there. Also, repair coffee, where voluntary events where people bring broken items like bikes, clothes, or electronics, and they can fix them together. The third main line that we were talking before, it's not relying on one single activity, but creating different jobs and opportunities based on local resources always and creativity. This makes the community less vulnerable and more attractive for young people. In Spain, the small cooperative that combine organic farming with rural tourism and the local crafts, by diversifying, they create more stable jobs and make the area more attractive also for the young people to stay. Beekeeping cooperatives, creating honey, but also they are creating pollination services and ecotourism, where the people can visit these hives. Agrotourism, combining farms, food and hospitality, and good crafts cooperatives. For example, in Cuenca, Spain, yesterday they teach us about the project Conoce Nuestro Bosque, about architecture with wood, adding value to the local forest, no? And there are small enterprises like producing cheese, olive oil, or wine that are marketed directly to the visitors, so they can buy local. The other line that we think it is important, sustainability is also about culture and identity. It is not only about protecting forests or rivers or biodiversity, but it's also about keeping tradition and crafts alive. So many young entrepreneurship are doing exactly this, reviving old knowledge and combining it with modern ideas. For example, projects that restore traditional houses using bioclimatic design. This you can see in this picture is a traditional construction in Almeria, the south of Spain, that is called Cortijo, and it has been rehabilitated, like mixing traditional with adobe and cal and modern uses like the photovoltaic panels that you can see up there. This is called La Tenada, and that is a rural house, and it is in the middle of the desert in Cabo de Gata, that is a national park. So the project also that Marta and Itziar presented, the project Amora, where young entrepreneurship were reviving watercolors and they were making shampoos with sustainable methods. So this initiative shows that development can be green, but also meaningful for the people who live there, because it connects the environment, the culture, and the community. Now let's look at the role of the social innovation and the circular economy in building sustainable rural communities. So this is about redesigning how we produce, consume, and share instead of the traditional linear model, take, use, and throw away. We move towards a circular model where resources are reused, repaired, and regenerated. Social innovation is key here because it means creating solutions not only for profit, but for the people and the planet. I'm gonna tell you about another entrepreneur here, that is Coffee Fungi. They are turning coffee waste into gourmet mushroom. It's a sustainable business that has been created by Christina, that she's a veterinarian and volunteer with Iroko. She was volunteering at Togo, who also started the beekeeping project in Togo. So together, Christina with her partner Max, she transformed coffee grounds and agricultural residues into gourmet mushroom. Their project builds on a simple but a powerful idea that in nature, nothing is waste. Everything transforms and finds its place. So inspiring this principle, Coffee Fungi follows a circular economy model, closing loops, reducing waste, and generating local value. This enterprise has been created in Canary Island, in a little village in the north of Gran Canarias. They cultivate mushroom without chemical, offering fresh, natural, and high-quality products. Beyond cultivation, they also provide the do-it-yourself grow kits and raise awareness about waste management and sustainable food system. And they invite to the consumers to be part of the chains by turning what other discards into nutritious food. So like the Goat Project, the Coffee Fungi also shows how local creativity can strengthen resilience. Another key, when we talk about energy and resources, the circular economy invites us to rethink how we produce, how we use, and share them. Instead of depending only on big companies or external suppliers, the communities can take the lead. Social innovation allows the people to design their own solution, reducing the cost and creating local jobs. For example, energy cooperatives, where the neighbors invest together in solar or wind power and share the benefits. A district heating system, where the forestry residues can be used to heat the homes, turning local waste into local energy. Water reuse project, where the village recycle great water for irrigation, reducing the pressure on the fresh water resources. So these are not just technical solutions, they build stronger communities, increasing independence and open opportunities for young entrepreneurs. So energy and resources are not only about technology, they are about people coming together to manage what they have in a smart and more sustainable ways. So now I will give the floor to my colleague Elena, who will talk about the strategies to engage the whole community. Elena?
Thank you, Marta. Hello, everyone. I'm Elena. About the strategies to engage the whole community, I would like to start saying that sustainability cannot be built by one entrepreneur. It must involve the whole community. Because when we talk about youth entrepreneurship, we often imagine a motivated young person who develops a business idea and carries it forward. But the truth is that no matter how good the idea is, it won't succeed alone. A project becomes truly sustainable when it brings the community along with it. So the strategies that can help us to engage the whole community are participation, education, cooperation, and visibility. Marta, if you can pass, please. Thank you. So the first step is participatory co-creation. That means involving people from the very beginning, through community assemblies, workshops, or consultation. For example, if we imagine a young entrepreneur starting a sustainable farming initiative, if they or he design everything alone, the community might see it as his project. But if local residents are consulted about crops, land use, or distribution models, they will feel ownership. So they are no longer just clients, but they become partners. And this sense of co-creation is what generates long-term support. The second element that we can see is an intergenerational education. For one part, young people bring energy, creativity, and new technologies. And in the other hand, older generation bring wisdom, tradition, and long-term perspective. So when these two groups collaborate, we have powerful results. For example, traditional water management techniques or local biodiversity knowledge can complement with digital tools or market strategies. This exchange not only strengthens the project, but also strengthens the social fabric of the community. This is related with Marta has talked about the environmental and cultural preservation of the land and the culture. The third strategy is to build local networks. Rural communities, as we know, often face resource limitation, but if we create a network, for example, with cooperatives, municipalities, NGOs, universities, etc., they can multiply their impact. These partnerships also create channels for more people to get involved. For example, older farmers can mentor young entrepreneurs, or schools can integrate local projects into their curriculum, and municipalities maybe can provide a space or small grants. When different actors are linked, the project stops being the idea of one person and starts being our collective project. And finally, we need to make sure the benefits are distributed across the community. If a sustainable business only creates profit for one entrepreneur, this will not engage the community. But if the business creates jobs or support local suppliers or reinvest part of its revenue in community activities, people will feel included in this entrepreneur. So to summarize, engaging the whole community means moving from an individual to a collective vision of entrepreneurship. It is not only about a young entrepreneur leading a project, but is about activating networks of participation, knowledge, partnership, and shared value. This is all. Thank you very much. Here, if you have any question, you can ask to Marta or to me now. And if not, you can contact with us by email, by Instagram, or in our website. Thank you very much. Well, I don't know if there is any question.
Okay, so thank you so much, Marta and Elena, to showing also, all the value that have the sustainable communities, and also the necessary that they are, especially these days. And also, if you want, also for the people that is connecting now, that during this transition between this part and also now from when the EASN is going to talk about how to finance these new projects, in the rural areas, especially related to the young people. I don't know if you would like just to show you the new YouTube channel. I can like put like a video, like one of the examples of the people that is doing this entrepreneurship, and we would like to, like, from Los Ojos, that we are here in Cuenca, we would like to show you a project, a very interesting project that is related also about ecotourism. So, and how this guy that is like a very entrepreneur guy is like showing all the resources and all the values that the landscape of Cuenca has. So I'm gonna show you. So let me share the screen. I think that
Lo inicié en el año 2019, durante la primavera de 2019, y bueno, el objetivo es el dar a conocer de forma sostenible el rico patrimonio natural, cultural y también gastronómico que tenemos en este territorio, en Serranía de Cuenca. Y siempre con un enfoque de turismo sostenible, educación ambiental, aunque también realizo otros servicios profesionales en el ámbito de la formación y de la truficultura. Sí que es verdad que cuando vives en un pequeño municipio, en mi caso de poco más de 50 habitantes, que está alejado de la ciudad, muchas veces sí que notas que implica un extra, una mayor dificultad, que posiblemente mi vida sería más fácil viviendo en la ciudad. Al final consta de una buena organización e intentar eso, optimizar lo máximo posible los desplazamientos, el tiempo y los viajes que se tengan que realizar por cuestiones de trabajo. Bueno, al final en estos pequeños municipios de las zonas rurales, lo que es la oferta de ocio se limita sobre todo también a las épocas de ciertos fines de semana, puentes festivos y sobre todo a la época de verano. Creo que es algo que por lo que debemos luchar todos en general, en romper esa barrera que nos encontramos muchas veces en los pequeños municipios con respecto a la oferta de ocio, porque aunque seamos pocos, pero también vivimos gente, y creo que es importante que la cultura sea accesible para todo el mundo independientemente de dónde vivas. No es fácil encontrar gestorías, asesorías que, bueno, pues que traten de forma directa las cuestiones que nos preocupan en las zonas rurales. Muchas de estas ayudas, vamos a decir, subvenciones, ya no solo de forma directa a la iniciativa privada a nivel empresarial, sino muchas veces también a administraciones públicas, las cuales pueden llegar a subcontratarte para llevar a cabo estos proyectos, no son fáciles de gestionar. Sí que es verdad que es un poco de forma autodidacta el ponerte las pilas con estas cuestiones para intentar también a su vez facilitar lo máximo posible a las instituciones públicas. Entonces, pues bueno, es intentar hacer una colaboración estrecha con las instituciones y en este caso importante contar con una gestoría, asesoría que te pueda orientar en todos estos trámites. Es importante al final el que hagamos, como tantas veces hemos comentado, esa simbiosis entre las personas que vivimos en el territorio, siempre por supuesto dando prioridad a la calidad del servicio, a profesionalizar los sectores, no el simple hecho de porque nos conocemos vamos a hacerlo juntos, pero sí que es importante porque creo que este territorio tiene un potencial enorme en todos los aspectos, ya no solo natural, cultural, gastronómico, sino también humano. Contamos con grandes profesionales en todos los sectores y que creo que debemos de hacer esa red, ese tejido social, empresarial, para poder sacarlo adelante.
Okay, so yeah, this is one of the videos. Sorry, now this is one of the videos that we did in this context of the project of the Erasmus Plus, the GreenXChange. So yeah, again, I invite you to see the rest of them. Maybe then after the presentation of ASM, we can watch another one. So, but it's very interesting because this is a project doing it here in the Serranía of Cuenca. Sergio lives in a very small village, but he's doing a amazing job, and maybe he's a young guy, but maybe he's one of the best people that can know all the area. So he can show you all the plants, all the fungi, all the animals, and all the secrets of this area. So if all of you can have the opportunity to come here to Serranía of Cuenca, we invite you also to know Sergio. And also, yes, Julio was chatting in the chat, saying a very important thing. I have to say that also this project, this Erasmus Plus project, is in the context of the youth, so of the young people, on how young people can entrepreneur in these rural areas. But I think that also he is saying one of the most important things also in order to entrepreneur in the rural areas, that is the intergenerational connection. Because like in the cities, maybe you can find your group, maybe you can find the people with your age, maybe, and it's more like a closed group. In the rural areas, for me, in my opinion, is one of the most amazing things, is to be related with other generations, because that's what makes the rural areas get a very like a treasure. Yeah, now, because like you can be connected with other generations, you can have the cultural transmission yet. So that is one of the things that we are losing, like we are saying at the beginning, that all the traditional ecological knowledge that we are losing every day when the old people dies. So I think that this is one of the most important things to bring a strong project, like to have an intergenerational connection. So that is amazing, and also that is one of the great values of the rural areas that we are losing maybe in the urban areas. So yeah, it's almost 11, so we are gonna give the floor to the project from Portugal, for the peripheries of Lisbon, that is ASN, that also they have international projects, and they are doing also a great labor about the connection between nature and the society. So I think that is gonna be you, Tiago. So yeah, so welcome, Tiago, and we hope that you enjoy during this time with him and his project. So thank you.
Thank you, Tirso. It was an amazing introduction by your side. Thanks a lot. And also, I'll briefly like to start by addressing the presentation from Martin and Elena. I think they have summarized very well in a very short time what is truly necessary in terms of a contextualization for the rural entrepreneurship to flourish. So for starting the next steps of that, I think very aligned to their presentation would be on how to properly finance this project. So I'll be sharing my screen so that you also have something to look at while I speak. Just a moment. Here you go. Okay, so one of the most important things that I think must be shared is related to the planning. So you have to very well understand. I will be addressing the future entrepreneurs that might be watching us. Okay, so once you get an idea of what you want to develop, you have to plan very specifically where or what is the area that you want to be working in. So by that I mean that you have to refine your idea to the point of being able to select what types of funding you are able to access just because you have planned it correctly. So for that, we have main distinctions. I think that the most important starting distinction that you have when you are an entrepreneur is your idea non-profit or for-profit? I think this is the most important starting distinction of any entrepreneur, even if it is specifically focused on a rural area or not, because this dictates a lot of the next steps. With that recollection in mind, I will go forward on the presentation, thinking about it as a blended approach, considering that even if you do study it for profit, you might get able to take advantage of the non-profit programs that the EU nowadays enables for the major part of entrepreneurs. Because, for instance, if you do have organic farming, or even as the examples that we gave for outstanding entrepreneurs from Portugal, you have winery and clearly for-profit entrepreneurship taking place. You might then mix that with, if you're starting the business, you might mix that with social tourism, with ecotourism. These types of projects are by themselves very well accepted by these nonprofit EU programs. So you can even use that as a starting strategy for financing your business from the ground up. So I think with this in mind, we will be briefly addressing all these, not all, but very important programs that can very well benefit this type of blended strategy for funding profit and non-profit rural entrepreneurship. And of course, I'll also be giving some general tips for writing a strong proposal independently of the funding source. So, well, Whenever we are then speaking about the starting, we have to be very careful of where our eyes are standing, where our vision is, but where are we standing? So if you were starting, it makes absolutely no sense for you to start big. You cannot actually. A few people can, but that doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is you have to have your idea and figure out the details along the way. That's what makes the most sense. So whenever you are specifically addressing, for example, small grants, you might have those that finance including this project that we are all a part of, which are the Erasmus Plus program. It finance cooperation projects between many school, universities, and NGOs for all the European Union countries, as well as some other associated countries. And it's very interesting that if you are starting something like that and thinking about getting in one of these programs, that you follow the advice that Elena gave in her presentation a few minutes ago, when she said, whenever you are doing that, you are not doing that alone. You're not supposed to be successful alone, even more if you are a nonprofit, because the main goal, after all, is to benefit the community. So this goes on both ways. You are benefiting them, but you can also learn from them. It's very useful for you to take advice and also get some help with other people that have been doing that prior to you. So this can really benefit your idea and the development of the business that you are planning or starting. So, in other words, if you are planning on joining any of these programs, you should definitely be seeking other people that are already on them to have some advice or even be partners of their ideas, and then grow from there, so that you can take experience and develop the proper knowledge to do it by yourself afterwards. Well, I think then we can have a bit of an overview of what the Serve Cities Equality, Rights and Values program also can bring for entrepreneurs as a benefit. So I think one of the most important things that we have to highlight of this program is the strong support for fundamental rights in the European Union. So if you can manage to point specifically how your social business or for-profit business benefits the local community, either in terms of sustainability or more specifically for the SERVE program, in terms of citizens engagement and participation, union from the European Union values and all that, even for instance promoting gender equality and social rights, you might then get able to access these types of funding just by thinking about the public that will be benefiting from your business. So this is very important and very a great part of the time neglected, because whenever you are thinking about a for-profit business, you are generally thinking about your product and you are thinking about the public as the consumer. But if you have a blended approach, you will very easily start seeing the final consumer only as that per se, but also as someone that is benefiting from your business. So this means that you can also leverage on this type of projects to get to know your client better if you are more for-profit oriented, or of course, to bring contextual benefit from other type of activities that are not only the one that's the primary goal of your institution, or if not that alone. Because this type of projects, what I mean in other words is, most part of the time, whenever you are writing a project for Serve, for instance, you might most probably end up, if you are a winery, for example, getting a part of that for ecotourism. You might not exactly be leveraging on this type of funding programs to be funding the plantation, or to be funding or materials or anything like that. But most probably you could be funding ecotourism activities that would by itself attract people for your winery, make your brand get recognition, acknowledgement, connecting to possible partners that might be distributors, consumers, and etc. So the benefits are wholesome, but not specifically a bank financing. So this type of European Union programs that we are addressing here are most more inclined at first, right now, that we are starting from the beginning, are most more inclined for this non-profit aspect. So both Erasmus Plus and Serve are all non-profit, more non-profit oriented, but not only. You can also join as a small or social enterprise, but even if you do, there is this context approach. They do not bank finance you. So we then have Creative Europe, which I think it's very important for us to highlight. It's more oriented to cultural aspect. Cultural aspect means, in other words, everything, because you can do everything in terms of culture. So you can do visual arts, you can do workshops, you might be able to do movies, you might be able to do online content, even gaming. There are many opportunities. And all these platforms, let's say, allow for any type of subjects to flourish. So you might address a movie on any type of subject. You might address online content on any type of subject. So this means that this is a direct way for approaching early started entrepreneurship or funding their ideas. But what is the barrier of entry? The barrier of entry is, this is not so easy as for funding as for instance, a small grant per se, because these are a little bit bigger. So this means that you would need to have a consortium of partners. Generally, all these programs require that, but the bigger the funding, the bigger the requirements. So in this approach, you might benefit from the exemption of the 60K euro that there is for any type of organization in the European Union as a whole, that you do not need to be fulfilling many credit requirements if you have that your annual budget is up to 60K, so you don't need to, you can benefit from this type of exemption. But of course, you might only be able to ask up to that amount. But again, if on the other hand, you have up to 60K of an annual budget and you are asking for a 200K project, even if you are in a consortium, you're out. I mean, it's not possible. So not for Creative Europe. So you have to be very careful on the ideas that you are having in the partnerships that you're creating, because of the requirements that you have to attend. So you have to be very careful about that. So I'll then discuss a little bit further about the Erasmus. Okay, so we do have many sections, many how to say, yeah, I think sections is the right word. We have 5 sections in the Erasmus Plus program. We have it for youth, we have it for universities, we have it for schools, we have it for that, which would mean technical education in Portugal, so something like that. And also we will have the 5th one, if anybody here remembers. Everybody's so used to that, I forgot. So no problem. And of course, we have the youth section. So what does that mean? That means that these, oh, okay, we have the adult section. I forgot that one. So whenever we're addressing the youth section, what's our primary goal is, of course, benefiting youth as a whole. So this means that we will be pivoting not only as shown here, like youth exchange, but also job shadowing, mobility opportunities, many ways that you could be benefiting youth for getting into the market, being capacitated somehow. So all these types of initiatives might benefit a social entrepreneur that is either profit or non-profit, depending on how he will be building his staff, on how he will be building his next steps. So it's actually very clever that if you are planning to address a for-profit rural entrepreneur, you might be able to tell him that he should be starting in a blended approach, because otherwise you would be concealing and most probably closing yourself from source of fundings that might be able to help you out. So, okay, so then we go for the next steps. What does that mean? It means that if you are indeed able to start and build a solid ground, you might be able to access the more specific programs from the European Union to address particular subjects. We have many ones. I will be addressing a few others here. Some I won't. We have, for example, one that I won't be addressing, but I think that's then important for me to be highlighting. For example, the Horizon program. It addresses innovation, research, a lot of technological development. So these are very big, generally very big grants and consortium, very complex projects and ideas. Not very targeted here, so not the reason. That's the reason why I'm not addressing it, but nonetheless, very important to be mentioned. So whenever we're speaking about rural development, it's very important to be highlighting the LEADER program. So it actually stands for the integration of development of rural areas with the mobilization of local communities. So they target what is called of a bottom-up approach. So this means that most part of the social entrepreneurs should then be seeking that narrative strategy that we were speaking right in the beginning, from planning, who's benefiting from their work, and so on. So of course, this has a few differentiators, a few other possibilities, because these programs are very wide, but you might also be able to engage in public-private partnerships. You might be able to engage in multi-sectorial strategies, as they call. But in general, you might be able to do anything related to networking, cooperation, innovation, of course, local development, which is then the main source for social entrepreneurs in this case. Okay, so I think it's very important regarding this that you be able to understand that you can have entry-level grants. They are pretty small, but can be a major advantage if you are starting your rural business, and you shouldn't overlook this small fundings. Okay, so I'll then, okay, just a moment. Okay, I'll then address the next one. This is, I think the idea behind presenting the live program here is just to make you understand that this fund-seeking approach at the EU level can grow, and there are many bigger programs that you can also be benefiting from if you can cut your ideas and development of business with, for instance, green funding. So the LIFE program is much more focused on environment as a whole, climate, biodiversity, and circular economy as the focus is pointing out here. And there are many calls that are closely related to that. So the past one was about 30 calls. And you have many possibilities. You might be able to get from mid to large scale, or even very large ones. So this means that if you get able to, if you succeed in the planning of strategizing, how are you going to be benefiting your local community in terms of the environment, in terms of circular economy, for example, you might be able to get in contact with partners that might be doing the same, or might be creating a project idea for a program such as this, that can, in the third way, leverage on the same type of vision that you have, and then you can compound and do it together. Because generally these type of programs requires a consortium of organizations, generally developing a piece of the puzzle on their own countries, at the same time vinculated to the same field most of the time. So it's very useful to understand, for example, recovery of endangered species. You have an endangered species that occurs. I will give an example here, very easy one. A species that occur in Portugal and Spain. So you have partners in both countries. You can, for example, say farms that will be working with biologists, that will be working with local communities in the corridor where those species are present, occur, and then they will work to be recovering them, their populations. So this is a very targeted, specific idea, but I think whenever talking about a species, it's very wide, but it's very targeted as well. So we can have a very good example how this works. And this can also be working for climate issues. This can also be working for circular economy, and for habitat, forests, for communities with similar environmental issues. So environmental issues per se, we get many types of problems and challenges that local communities are facing today. So from dams to many types of industry residues, I mean, many types of problems. So all of that can be thought of wherever you are building or starting your social or for-profit entrepreneurship on a rural area, and then you have to map that area very well to get to know what types of problems your business, or even if it's a social venture, can address, can help address, because that might as well be a way for you to be not only benefiting the community itself, but also making sure that your business has the funding to do so. So it's something that's a cross-way benefit. So right here we have, on the other hand, programs focused on a for-profit funding, which are I should say, not specifically our focus as ASN, because we are non-profit, but we can, of course, manage to give them a whole idea about that, because, of course, we are in contact with a few rural entrepreneurs. So the first thing that I think I would advise before getting into these programs would be for you, either if you are in an Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Greek, etc., TU level rural area, you should seek advice from local authorities, because generally, for instance, the Ministry of Agriculture or the local departments engage of this type of a local development might very well have funding themselves to be able to present you to introduce you to, or to point you out the way. Secondly, and at the same time, you should be seeking advice from people that have been doing things that are very close to your vision. If it's either a for-profit or non-profit business, the counsel is the same. You should start on that, because then you can ask from them of course, and you can also check their size, and you can then start mapping the steps along the way for you to be developing that. And this is very particularly helpful in terms of a for-profit venture. So for instance, the LEADER, I'll start from the first line. The LEADER program is also focused for small local businesses and startups. And they are generally funded within the EAFRD section, which goes for European Agricultural Fund for Rural Development. Generally, these grants are managed not as grants, but as they are very similar to bank funding, and they are done with very low interest rates. Sometimes a few percentage of that is non-refundable. So it varies and depends a lot from the country, and of course from the incentives that each country is offering. But generally, that's also one of the funding sources that you can only benefit from when addressing directly at your local agricultural department, because they are the ones managing that. So we also have for small and mid-sized companies, and focused on equipment acquisition, and focus on modernization, and you can then very easily look for ERDF. If you are, for instance, doing something else in a rural area, such as a construction company, you might very well get some type of rural development funding, even if it's non-agricultural. So for that, you would be seeking the same fund from the first line, but then on the CAP strategic plan, which would be meaning any type of venture that is creating jobs in rural areas non-related to agriculture. And finally, you could leverage on InvestEU, for instance, to help to get help from the EU to unlock commercial loans from banks if you do not have credit history, because they might help you through these programs to get that, and of course as well with very low interest rates. Okay, I'll then very briefly address some tips for writing proposals, and in this case, this very much benefits both types of ventures, either if it's for profit or non-profit. So you have to build a tracking record. I think this is very important, and you have to do that by starting with the small grants. And whenever you do so, you must also be thinking alongside that of the narrative of what you're building. You have to have a very clear goal. Everyone must be able to understand that, have to be able to understand which problem you are addressing, which solution, which I hope is very innovative, you are presenting, and who is benefiting from them. So these three questions are very important, and they are the soul of the business. You then have to start through these small grants or initial funding, start showing the impact on people and local environment. And from there on, you can get the next steps for the mid-sized grants, the mid-sized funding, and for that, of course, you can leverage on the tracking record that you created and how you can scale that, how you can scale in measurable results. So this can very easily then translate into project ideas, because you can have the next steps for your business materialized in different areas, in different subjects, in different fronts that might very well fit different programs and different funding strategies. So for environmental education, for instance, as an example, you might be leveraging on Erasmus+. For gender equality in your rural area, for creating more jobs for women, etc., you might leverage on SURF. And for helping, and then you get the idea. So whenever you are then specifically talking about building proposals, you have again to emphasize strong proposals, strong partnerships, and for doing so, you have to do an in-depth research of the partners that you are acquiring for building these proposals for funding. And well, aside from that, I would actually like to, I'll go over here because I think our time is almost up. So I will address a few key ideas before we go for verified funding in terms of websites, because that's very short and very easy. But I think it's very important whenever you are doing these types of grant writing, for instance, that you seek advice from people that are doing that for a longer time, because that might save you some great deal of time and headaches. But of course, if you are a fast learner, you might leverage a lot of tools nowadays. You have many manuals, you have many, all these programs generally, they have a program manual. They tell how, they even tell how they evaluate your proposal. So you might leverage reading on that too. And of course, you might leverage on AI as well. You might leverage on the partners by asking them, starting small and then growing slowly. So if you got interested in any of the programs, if you're not familiar with them, which I hope it's not the case, sorry. If you are familiar with all of them, or with a few, it's very easy to get access to these calls and know when they're open or when they're closing. You might just get on the EU funding and tenders portal, and from then on you'll have all the information linked. So it's just a question of doing an in-depth research on what attracted your attention, and then you can grow. The same goes for all the others, but I would definitely advise on getting on this as the main source of funding sources. So, well, I think that for now, I would like to conclude by telling you that the most important thing is the planning. You have to take your time to plan very well the venture that you are starting to develop. And that is a great deal of the percentage of possibility of success that you have. And there is no embarrassment in replanning along the way. That's actually very smart. Smart people change their mind all the time. So that this is a very classical quote. Seek advice from other people, and even hiring initially people that might be able to help you on planning the first steps or the next steps. So from then on, I think I'm 6 minutes up, so that's why I had to make short some parts. But thanks a lot for your attention, and I hope it was useful. And of course, if you do need any other type of advice or any type of I don't know, maybe help on something that ASN has experience with, we are fully at your disposal to be helping, either if you are starting your venture or if you have already started. And of course, if it's related to the non-profit area, we might be able to help better. So thank you. And okay, I think we are done.
Thank you so much, Thiago. So I think that it's not easy to talk about this rough topic, because I think that can sound a bit boring, no? We'll say, but it's one of the main parts of if everyone wants to entrepreneur. So I think that, yeah, thank you. I think that it was also very interesting. So all the things that you said, and all the lines that the funding resources, the funding sources that we can have the opportunity to apply. It's true that maybe this part is, and also it's very frustrating sometimes, because when you spend a lot of time just writing down a memory about a project, and then this project is refused, and then you try again and it's refused again. So it's normal that sometimes you feel, okay, my project maybe that doesn't work, or something is happening that, but I'm not really agree with this, because I think that during this time, like is our case with ASN, Iroko, or Amuni, like sometimes when during this time, during this process that sometimes is refused, you are meeting people, you are knowing a lot of groups of associations, that they are working in the same field of you. So this sometimes when you look back is the most maybe the most important thing. The things that you are doing during the way, and the people that you find. So it's true that there is a boring, a laborious job that is behind that you spend a lot of time, and then again maybe you can be refused. But yeah, there are many lines, there are many funding sources that we need to know, at least to know it, like Thiago showed us this morning, that I think that is very important. If we have this frame with all the funding sources that we can find, everything is going to be easier, because maybe you can do it alone, but maybe if you do it with more people, if you do it collaborating with another group, so maybe you can do it, and maybe not at the first one, maybe not the second one, but maybe at the third one, like the refrain says, can do it. And this also open many doors. So I think that when you open a door, maybe you can open another 2 doors. So I think that, like again, I said that before, I think that with patience, we know that patience is not one of the popular things nowadays, but I think that let's flow, and then let's enjoy the way, because otherwise, like, we are gonna be in always frustrated, I think, in my opinion, because it's true that we are a small projects, we are very small projects, and also, like, we are seeing during these days in not the best environment, so like we need to deal with many things. So but that's why maybe we need to show to other people that our tip is the patience. So against this very quick world that happens in the cities and in many companies. So to create maybe another rhythm. So thank you so much, Thiago, again, to show all these things. And we are going to the last part of this webinar, about today's webinar. So it's an open space that we are trying to do like a networking, just to know the people that also is here, also talking with each other. I don't know, in meanwhile I can, and then like a space I can show the other video, the last video that we did, and then maybe we just this part, like 2 minutes of relax watching the video, and then we go to the last part, and if everything, and then we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna share the last video that we did. I hope that you enjoy, and then
hace un tiempo pues empezamos a hacer hidromiel para compartirla con toda la gente de Cuenca y todo el que no sea de Cuenca y la quiera disfrutar también. El hidromiel es una bebida fermentada a base de miel y agua. De la misma manera que para fabricar el vino se fermenta un zumo de uva, nosotros fermentamos una mezcla de miel y agua. Trabajamos principalmente en Cuenca, y sí es verdad que aunque tenemos unas pequeñas ventas online, sí que nuestro principal consumidor es el comercio y la hostelería de Cuenca. Hoy en día pues puedes traer tanto cualquier materia prima o cualquier producto que necesites, pues lo puedes traer siempre que lo pagues. Pero es cierto que vivir cerca de focos industriales pues encarece algunos de los suministros que nos pueden necesitar. Vivir en Cuenca nos permite estar cerca de la explotación apícola que tenemos. Eso sí que nos facilita. las cosas. Quizás si viviésemos en el centro de Madrid, pues no podríamos tener las colmenas tan cerca como las tenemos nosotros ahora de casa.
Bueno, al vivir en una ciudad, pues, digamos, más limitada, tanto de población como económicamente, pues resulta un poco más complicado extender el producto a todos los negocios. Digamos que es complicado abrir brecha y dar a conocer el producto, que la gente pues lo solicite y que lo conozca, y también pues que se valore, porque al final no es algo convencional y eso...
Quizá también una población más envejecida no ayuda a colocar un producto igual que la gente no está. Seguramente que haya gente especializada en cooperativas, en proyectos más relacionados con el ámbito rural, seguro que lo hay. Pero nosotros no hemos podido acceder a alguien especializado en esto. Ojalá hubiese más una industria local que de proveedores. Por ejemplo, que yo no tenga que traer los botellines de Portugal a través de un distribuidor en Toledo. Ojalá hubiese un distribuidor aquí, o incluso porque no se pudiera fabricar el vidrio aquí, o las chapas aquí. Entonces, sí es verdad que tratamos de hacer cosas muy locales dentro de lo que se puede.
La verdad es que trabajar con la gente local está siendo maravilloso, o sea, es un apoyo.
Gente, sí.
Nos han apoyado siempre desde el inicio y nos han ayudado un montón. O sea, nos prestan lo que necesitamos, o sea, que eso también... Es verdad que el apoyo de la gente de aquí, de la tierra, de Castilla-La Mancha, de Cuenca, es fabuloso.
Sí.
Yeah, so this is another example, like how to work with the natural resources of the environment, no? Like in this case, like with the honey, how they are elaborating honey water. That is it's a ancestral, actually, ancestral liquor. So how, yeah, it's a very an easy mixture, we'll say, but now not very known, no, during these days. So yeah, so if any one of you wants, like again I say, I invite you to see the rest of the videos from Sicily, from Spain, and from Portugal. So yeah, we are gonna go to the last part of the webinar. I don't know if any one of you has any question, any doubt. Also, you can do it in in your own language. So it doesn't matter if it's not in English. So yeah, and otherwise I'm gonna send just a link about it's like a platform that we use sometimes that is called Padlet. I don't know if you know it, but it's just to record. Maybe if you wanna write the name of your project. So like if you enter in this link, like I write it down already. I wrote down, so like Los Ojos, no, and we are looking for seems local to international cultural cooperation. So if it's fine, also we invite you to write the name of your project and also your needs, and then we can record it and also to be in contact, because like I think that is like the summary of also this of the project and also of this webinar. I think that the things are not easy, but it's thank you, Alice. Yeah, like you see there, you can write the name. Yeah, perfect. Julio also, thank you so much, Julio. And also invite you to know the wonderful project of Julio, that the Huerto del Sonido. Like I said before, he tries to look for the sound of the plants and also of another crop. So yeah, if I invite you to put the name of your project. And yeah, like I was saying, like I think that the most important thing of this is the collaboration, the cooperation, and also, yeah, doesn't matter if like this project is in the context of the age, because we are working with young people, but I think that the goal is just the collaboration has to be intergenerational. So yeah, to learn about the experience and to learn about the environment, to learn about the old people also, how they worked in the land, and also obviously to use the current tools, the digital tools that we have today, and they are more than that we know, that we think. So we have a lot of opportunities. So yeah, I don't know if there is something else. Please, if we can talk a little bit, we have a bit time also. So otherwise, we can go to the conclusion. I don't know if also from Iroko, ASN, or Amuni wants to say something.
Yeah, I can. Thank you so much, Tirso. I may just add some words about this moment, this network cafe, because the aim of having this file shared among us is to match needs and strengths. So thanks to the also your contacts that we can you can add in the file, in case you need partner, it can be a chance to build partnership even for the future, to match needs of one of the organization, for instance, and strength to the another one. So maybe we can create a network that can be useful for you also to in order to have chance for partnership for new projects. As Thiago told before, because partnership is always requested and is always an opportunity also to understand or to know something that is not in your field. So if you agree, just 5 minutes to collect all your information, and then we can go to the conclusion. We have to share the screen and you have the link. So we are going to write down.
Yeah.
Even though there are people which are not belongs to a specific organization, of course, you can fill it with your own personal details.
Okay. Also, if you think from Amuni or ASN, you can add it even. Yes. And also, if you have even more, I mean, so you have ideas for the future. I don't know, for another projects or for something that you think that is important that we talk about. Also, maybe it can be considered, no, for next projects. I don't know, like everything. The future is open.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we were saying, like I think that for us also that the goal of this webinar also is like yesterday, that there was also another project that they were very interesting that we will send also this link to the people that was yesterday in the webinar that they talked about their experiences. So I think that also is important that many of them that have not been today, obviously, they were working, but yeah, they will send this link to them also to fill it out. And yeah, and I like in the rural areas and also in the small cities, in the provinces, I think that there are not many projects, so sometimes like you feel that isolation, that you, but it's when you do this type of projects and when you look for more, I think that you notice and you realize that there are more people that is doing the things, same things than you, and that make you stronger, and that make you more confident, obviously, about your project. And I think that, in my opinion, and in our case about Los Ojos, I think that is the thing that we have found during also this Erasmus and also during other projects, that we realize that there are many projects like us, that they are working in the same way, and they are doing very similar things, no? Working with local communities, with local sharing with local projects, but also there are many projects, international projects, and European projects that are doing something similar. So I think that the main goal for us should be to be connected and to know each other at least, and in order to be united, you know, to the future, because we need to accept that we are less and we are few. But yeah, I feel and I think that if we are united, and at least to know each other and to know the projects that are in your province, the projects that are in your region, the projects in your country, and then even projects that are in other countries, that makes a net very strong. And I think that there are many open doors that can be opened, like also linking to the Tiago presentation, like, yeah, you can apply to many different and many funding sources if you know more people, you know more projects. So yeah, so I think that is one of the, in my opinion, my conclusion. I don't know also for the rest if you have another conclusions that can you want to share, but I think that we need to say to the young people that there are many opportunities, that they are not easy, that they are not, sometimes they are boring, they are rough and laborious. Maybe like Sergio said in the video, maybe you need to do a bit more effort than in other places, in another environment. But I think that when you find the way, I think that your project is gonna be more unique. It's gonna be more authentic than other. So I think that because you are working in your area, you are working in your landscape, and this is absolutely original and unique. But so I think that, yeah, for me, I think that is, for me, it's fine, it's okay. So I don't know, I don't have to add anything else. So I don't know if for anyone wants to say something. Otherwise, we can share this link of the Padlet, in order, if you know someone that wants to be here, is like an international European web like this, and yeah. So thank you so much to everyone to be here today, or also the people that has been the 2 days. And yeah, and we hope that we can repeat again, so to do something similar in the frame of an Erasmus Plus, like this case, or we can organize in other context, like if we want, like to look for solutions and to look for opportunities, like between countries like Italy, Portugal, and Spain, that we share more things that we think, and we faced sometimes the same problems. So that when we feel that we are alone, that there are a lot of people that is feeling the same. So the goal is to find each other to make us stronger. So yeah, thank you so much. I don't know.
Thank you so much. The link is already shared on our chat, so maybe we can also send it within all the presentation we have done today, and we can download this file and share with you.
Yeah, perfect, Alice. And yeah, thank you also to Iroko, Amuni, and ASN, and to be here and do all the grateful presentation. So yeah, thank you so much, and
Thank you so much for
we
everything.
hope to see each other soon.